Well, we are going to be talking about the festival coming up there at the Jewish Community Center there at JCC, but we want to first of all welcome Phyllis Wolf, who is the program director there at JCC, and it's always a pleasure having you with us, Phyllis. And
thank you, Ted. The feelings are mutual.
well, you know, I know that we have a lot to talk about, but before we talk about Hanukkah, and we've got what a beautiful display we have here, and we're going to talk about what people are seeing today and some of the things that are used during the holiday. But before we do that, maybe you can just give a little bit of history about the Jewish Community Center and just really what its mission is, and describe some of the things that people are invited to participate in this wonderful, wonderful facility that we have. And it's more than a facility. It's really a place for families to come and congregate. But tell us about it.
It's a community center.
Community center.
It's a community
that says
center.
It all.
And it's all about community. It really is, in that we were founded a little more than 14 years ago, the fall of 2000. We're located in the Northeast Heights of Albuquerque, and we are based in Jewish values, yet we are open to the entire community, and we really do have something for everybody, from preschoolers actually down to infants. We have what we call the Family Enrichment Center, which is a preschool, and it's on our campus. We also have summer camps in the summer for ages 5 to 12, and then we have teenagers who learn to be counselors, and some of the kids that go through the camps then become the counselors. And we have a lot of that with families that just kind of grow up with the center. And one of our slogans is "Find Your Center." And the reason is because, you know, as you know, a healthy life is one that encompasses body, mind, and spirit.
Absolutely.
And there are aspects of all of that at the JCC. From our amazing fitness center, we have brand new equipment, and that's something we're very committed to, is always not only providing wonderful state-of-the-art equipment, but having with it the people that care, that are trained and really know how to get people started at whatever fitness level you're at. We really do have, as I mentioned earlier, every size, shape, age group, gender, etc., that participates in our aerobics classes, our group fitness classes, our spin classes, and then work with trainers. And then, of course, on the other side, which is what I'm responsible for over at the J, and I'm, by the way, completing my 9th year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, this month, and starting my 10th in January, and it's really been a wonderful ride for me. Developing the cultural programming at the JCC, which is really a big, probably differentiating point of our community center versus, let's say, going to just a fitness facility, which concentrates only on the body. So we're feeding your mind. We're giving you entertainment. We're teaching you things about Judaism, and we're also, again, community is the big thing. We are putting on exciting programming for the entire community to enjoy.
We're going to talk about some of the events. I know that you were mentioning before we went on the air that there are 4 major events, and I thought, oh, okay, coming up, spread out for 2000. No, in December. So they are keeping you busy, and that is awesome, because that is a place where people can just look forward to the next coming event, and along with just the regular daily things that we're talking about. Of course, we're at that season where people, you know, coming up on New Year's, a lot of people want to make a new commitment for the New Year's, and as you mentioned, health is, you know, it's such a blessing to have that. And sometimes people slip, and sometimes people have not been maybe exercising, and sometimes people aren't really looking at their whole cultural background or their spiritual background. And what is so nice is that JCC has some specials coming up. I don't want us to forget that for memberships, and this is for the entire community. You've got a special that's coming up that they may want to be able to say, okay, what's going to go with that commitment I'm going to make? Like maybe becoming a member and starting a regular routine of exercise, and then benefiting from some of the other things that we're going to talk about in this program.
2 things that I think people find really interesting. One is our membership is actually, percentage-wise, a higher percentage of non-Jews than Jews. And I think the reason for that, Ted, is that it's a home. We are all, without boasting, really friendly and warm, and we genuinely care about each other, the staff who are there, and our members. So yes, it is a member-based organization, but contrary to popular belief, it's not religious in that it's a synagogue or a temple or a church. It's a community center, and it is open to everybody. And we are a nonprofit organization. We're a 501c3. Right. So we do some fundraising activities as well, so that we can offer scholarships to the more needy in our community and so forth. Sure. So our special, by the way, that was the second part. So to make it really easy and incentivize people to make a commitment to your health, we have a 90-day for $90.
Wow, that's
special.
$1 a day.
So
that's
we're
awesome.
basically giving you an opportunity to come experience us without an obligation, but just come. And our hope is that once you get into the groove, which is really what most things in life are about, it's making the commitment and then setting up the structures and habits so that you can fulfill the commitment you're making to yourself. So we're making it all real easy for you. Just show up and we'll get you going.
You know, and I know, and let's go back to talking about just the family that's there, because as you said, you know, I've exercised pretty much all my life, and of course I've exercised at the table too. So people may question my sincerity, but I do exercise daily, and I play a lot of racquetball. But you know what I've noticed in some of the places where I've gone, where you get to know the people, and you have, let's say, 10-year-olds participating in something alongside maybe somebody that's 65 or older. And there's a benefit in that, because a lot of times there's that interaction, and and the other thing is just being able to go to a place where you feel safe, where you're comfortable, where your kids can run around, where they can also be there with other adults. It just makes for the whole exercise routine. It doesn't become a routine. It becomes someplace that you want to be able to go and you enjoy. And
you look forward to it.
And people are calling you by your first name, and before you know it, you really enjoy going to that place. And that's exactly what the JCC is.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. It's and everything that you said is absolutely true, because this is what we hear from our members, that they make friends.
Right.
That their children make friends, elders are there, and it's that multi-generational synergy, which just makes you feel good. It's such a joy for me to see some of the seniors and elders in our community come in, and you know, some of them are on walkers, some of them have oxygen, but they're there. And they make it upstairs, and they go around the track, and some of them will meet with a trainer to work on whatever specific issues they might have, and all of that is available. So it's a very non-intimidating place. And yet we have, don't get me wrong, we've got young people that are very buff.
Sure.
And
but
which is inspiring.
But you know, sometimes you need, when somebody's starting back, or maybe they haven't exercised for a long time, they say, okay, I'm gonna start. And you have somebody that's able to tell them, okay, we're going to start, and we're going to take it step by step. We're not going to, you know, next day we don't want you to be so sore that you're going to give up on it. And they're going to, and they're trained to be able to bring somebody that hasn't been exercising for a while to a point where it just becomes a part of their daily life. And then the benefits, the health.
Yes, and you will be, if you are that person who wants to take that first step, the first thing that will happen is you will be congratulated for taking that first step. It's like you're feeling kind of like, oh, I'm embarrassed, you know, I don't want anybody to see me. And they're like, no, you're here.
Absolutely.
And we really acknowledge and celebrate you for taking that step to make a commitment.
That is awesome.
And then you'll have friends along the way, and you'll meet some fabulous people there.
Oh, that is great. Well, you know that the holiday of Hanukkah is coming up, and we want to find out about the dedication of Festival of Lights and the miracle that it is based upon. What an awesome miracle!
You touched on the three things of Hanukkah. Really, Hanukkah itself, I'd love to share it with you. It's a post-biblical holiday.
All right.
And it is definitely a festival that celebrates, as you said, it celebrates life, it celebrates dedication, and it celebrates freedom to practice religion, free of persecution. And if I may, I'll just share a little bit of the
Please.
background of
Yeah.
it. So Hanukkah is a Hebrew word that actually means dedication.
Okay.
And the reason that the holiday was named that is because going way back to 170 BC, there was a very oligarchic, king. His name was Antiochus, and he was part of the Greek regime. Alexander the Great, 300 years prior to him, had encompassed Palestine, which is what it was called at the time, Syria, and Egypt, that
whole
area.
yeah.
And he was more benevolent as a ruler. And what his belief was is that, you can adopt some of the Greek ways. They were called Hellenistic at the time. Some of the customs and the, not unlike any immigrant that comes to a new country, or if you're in a country and it's taken over. I mean, so there's an assimilation.
Okay.
But the thing that was wonderful about Alexander the Great is he allowed Jews and others to practice their religion.
Okay.
When Antiochus came along, he said, no, we're not going to have any of that. You got to do it my way or the highway. So he came in and actually mandated the destroying of religious and sacred parts of our temple. At the time, we had one temple.
Right.
And so that's where the dedication piece comes in, because the temple was taken from the Jews at that time. And then Mattathias, who was living there with his family, you may have heard of Judah Maccabee
Yes.
and his brothers, so they are the children of Mattathias.
Okay.
They really demonstrated faith, courage, bravery, and conviction, fighting for what you believe in. And they did. They went to war, and that's not something that I think any religion glorifies,
No.
but it's sometimes necessary.
Yeah. Sometimes people are forced into that.
And
Yeah.
that's what happened. And so basically, they were successful in taking back the temple. And so there was a rededication. On the day that the temple was taken back, however, because all of the religious elements were destroyed, there was not enough oil. Back in those days, we had lamps with oil in them. And so we had a menorah that had 7 days on it, same number of days as we
Yes.
have in the week that God created the heaven and the earth in those 7 days. And there was a miracle. And the miracle was there was only enough for 1 day. And it took 8 days for the oil to be made again so that we could then restore that temple. I say we because I feel like all these
course.
stories, we're connected to
Yeah.
them. We're who we are today because of some of these struggles and part of the history that preceded us. So anyway, long story short, 8 days it took, 8 days that one candle burned,
That should have only lasted a day.
1 day. So there's the miracle.
Yeah.
And the lights are celebrated for a couple of reasons. One, because Hanukkah occurs usually in December. Last year we had Thanksgiving. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But people are always like, I don't understand with Jewish holidays. Why are they always on different dates?
Yeah.
I can explain that very easily.
There's a good explanation.
There is. So we follow a Hebrew calendar, which is really based more on the lunar cycle. So it changes all the time. So it's not the Gregorian calendar where, for example, every year December 25th is
Exactly.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's more like Easter. You know how Easter
Kind of,
changes a
yes.
little bit? Same kind of idea. So
So you can have it in late November.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
It can be,
Okay.
but it usually falls in December.
Okay.
And so part of the celebration also is around December is when the days get shorter and it's
Yeah.
longer, darker days. So it's this wonderful thing to have all this light. And the way we commemorate that is with a very special menorah that's called a Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see I brought a few. They're all in all sizes and shapes. And this one I love because you plug it in and you can unscrew the lights as you go.
As you go.
For each of the nights. But You'll notice that
middle.
on all of the menorahs,
Uh-huh.
there is one candle that's a little higher.
Right.
And that candle is called the service candle or the
Okay.
shamas
Okay, the
in
shamas.
Hebrew.
Okay.
And in old times, and actually in very observant homes, that's the only light that you can use to light the other candles, or if something came along and you needed to light something else.
Just for the light in the room that night.
Exactly.
You just light this. Okay.
You use that service
Right.
candle because the rest are part of the religious practice. And on the first night, there are 3 prayers that are recited for the first candle that is lit.
Okay.
And then the rest of the nights were basically just thanking God for the blessing of light.
Okay.
And then as the 8 nights continue, we light the menorah from right to left
Okay.
as Hebrew is read.
Yes.
And then the newest candle, so if we're on, let's say, day 4, you'll light day 4, then day 3, then day 2, then day 1, and
Okay.
until the whole menorah is lit on the last night.
Now, tell us about the last night. Was there something specific there?
So the last night is, obviously festive by nature, just because you have, a lot of times we'll have parties where every family will bring a menorah, and you have all this light in the darkness of December, and so it's very, very festive, and there's a lot of singing and dancing. And the other thing that, because of the oil that I mentioned that we do, is we eat a lot of fattening foods that are made with oil. And one of them that's really, really, really associated with this holiday is latkes.
Yes.
Which are potato pancakes, but there's a whole controversy about it because
Tell us about that.
they're not just pancakes. They're made in a very, almost like a sloppy way. The potatoes are grated,
Right.
onions are added to that, some oil is added to that, of course, and then some matzah meal to form the pancakes, and then you fry them in a lot of oil. You have to put them, I remember the smell of it when my grandmother was
I can
making
imagine.
this years ago. And then the paper towels come out and you sort of pat them dry on the paper towels, and you cannot keep up with the demand because they are so delicious. If you have them
They
with
are.
applesauce, you've had,
have,
right?
yes.
And we'll have lots of them, by the way, at Hanukkah Fest.
That'll be one. We're going to talk about that. And
Yeah.
tell us some of the symbols that are associated with Hanukkah. I know that we have a few that
Yes.
they're on the table.
Yes, so the menorah, of course,
Of course.
is the centerpiece.
Yeah.
And then, may I get up for a
Sure.
moment and I'll
Yeah.
just show you what we have?
think
So
there
we
you go.
also have Hanukkah gelt. There's a misnomer about Hanukkah, that it's the Jewish Christmas. And it's
Yeah.
just, that sort of happened, I think, more in America, because Christmas is a really big deal here. And even Christians that I speak with say, the meaning of Christmas gets lost with all the gift giving, and
Sure.
that's not really what the holiday is
Sure,
about.
sure.
So the one thing that's sanctioned with this holiday is the coins. It's
Okay.
called gelt, which is a Yiddish word which means gold.
Cool.
And I read recently that the reason that I think the coins came into the holiday is there was a silver and a gold coin
Okay.
that were part of the temple's decorations.
Okay.
And those had been destroyed. So I think that's how that came into the holiday.
Sure, makes
and then
sense.
the other thing are the dreidels. And I put them in the order of, if you'll notice, there's a letter on each one.
Yes.
And the letters stand for, I'm going to look at my notes because I can never remember. Okay, the letters stand for a great miracle happened there, which is Nes Gadol Haya Sham.
Okay.
And so the Shin is for the S, the H or the Hey
Okay.
is for the Haya, and then the G is Gadol and Nes, which is, and again, we're reading from right to left
okay.
instead of right. And
Okay.
so when the Jews were not able to practice, their faith, which
Yeah.
is studying, reading the Torah, praying, etc. If somebody came along and they had to immediately put things away so they wouldn't be found out that they
Right.
were not doing what King Antiochus said,
Yes.
they'd immediately take these tops out and start playing with them and
Yeah.
play gambling games with coins. So that's why we actually continue to play
Sure.
that. And it's a lot of fun. What are you going to do while the candles are burning and you've eaten all the latkes? You take out
Yeah.
the dreidel. And then the way you play is,
Okay.
if I may,
Spin.
and let's see if I can
Yes.
spin it. Whoops.
That's okay.
Without knocking everything over. Nope.
Almost.
Almost. Let's see. It's been a while. Nope. It's a little tricky.
Yeah, but you can get them to actually spin at the top.
You can.
Because I was able to do it. But it took me a lot of practice.
It's,
at the
it's
last-
been a year. I'm not able to
It's
get
getting
it going. I'm sorry.
That's
It's supposed to spin
Yeah.
on the
At the very
well,
top.
That almost did it.
You almost
And
had
it's
it.
like a
There it is. There it goes. There you
There
go.
it goes. There it goes.
That's awesome.
Okay. Whoop! All right, we won't take too much time with it. But anyway, it's a really fun game.
What an awesome thing that was part of preserving the people at the
Yes,
time
yes.
that were under that ruler, and they walk in and they begin playing the game, and so both the children and the adults, I mean, they can,
Right.
and the children love to play the game, but there's such a significance in
Yes.
that, isn't there? So,
Yeah, there is, because what we're doing now is we're celebrating the fact that our temple was rededicated, that good triumphed over evil, evil being the persecution of allowing folks to practice what they believe and what they are, what their faith dictates to them. That's a very basic human right,
Absolutely.
we believe, and
Yeah.
it's relevant today.
yeah.
So, and the fact that these tops were played with more successfully than I just did.
You did get one good spin in.
I got one. And so we're kind of commemorating all those elements of the time.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to talk about the event that's going to take
Yes.
place there at the JCC, and
It's actually at Embassy Suites.
it's at okay. This is at Embassy Suites. I
Yes.
didn't realize.
So this
that.
is- yes,
Okay.
we've moved it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, last time I believe I went to.
We've
Okay.
outgrown, even though
oh
the
my
J
goodness.
is
yeah. Well, okay.
a very big
I'm
place.
glad you. Okay. Last time I think I went to the Jewish Community Center, and of course, it's there on your screen. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about. So you moved to the
Yes.
Embassy Suites, which is a
Yes.
lovely hotel, great place there. They have a great staff there.
Yes.
And I know people are going to enjoy that. So we'll talk about that. But we're going to
Okay.
break for a song, and then
Okay,
we'll come
great.
back and talk about that and many more events that are taking place at the Jewish Community Center. So we have Ruben Romero online here and Robert Notkoff with a great song that I know you're going to enjoy. We'll be back with our guest Phyllis in just a moment.
The Jewish Community Center presents Hanukkah Festival, Sunday, December 14th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Embassy Suites Hotel in Albuquerque. Come and enjoy Jewish and Mediterranean foods, entertainment for all ages, shop unique holiday gifts. Come and bring the whole family for the JCC Hanukkah Festival, Sunday, December 14th at Embassy Suites Hotel. For advance tickets, go to jccabq.org or call 505-348-4500.
Well, welcome back to this very special God Answers Prayer program. You know that we see just every day now in the news, unfortunately, that both Christians and Jews are under intense persecution. So what do we do about it? Do we begin to lay back and forget about each other? Or do we pick it up and do we begin to learn more about each other? We had a song about Hanukkah, and then we had a Christmas song. And you may be thinking, so, well, what's that all about? It's a holiday season, and we have people from different backgrounds that are enjoying time with their family. And Phyllis Wolf, as people begin to understand more about each other, that's where community, that's where relations began. that's where some of this evil that surrounds us begins to go away. And we all need to be strong in that. And I know that with the Jewish Community Center, that's exactly what it's about. And you've got a festival coming up, and again, you've outgrown the JCC, and you said it's going to take place
Yes.
at the Embassy Hotel. So
Yes.
tell us when that's going to take place.
Okay.
And we know it's at the Embassy, so give us the times and the specifics.
Sure. So the Embassy, by the way, is very easy to get to. It's on I-25, the Lomas exit.
Okay.
And then they have a conference center that's wonderful. It's 30,000 square feet.
Wow.
We take that entire conference center
Yeah.
over. And we have a grand ballroom
Okay.
with 12,500 square feet,
Wow.
give or take.
It is a great
And
facility. And,
It's
yeah,
really, it's
awesome.
a wonderful venue to have this because we're able to have a separate ballroom for children where we'll have not only Hanukkah games, but we'll also have got to have a bouncer at every event,
oh, yeah.
right? And we got a oh boy, do we have
Do
a
you have a
bouncer. It has games inside and
Cool.
slides, and so it's for a
Yeah.
lot of different ages.
Sure.
And a lot of adult supervision. So for adults that want to sign their children in,
Yeah.
this particular ballroom is being supervised by the Jewish Academy of Arts and Sciences, which is
That's-
co-located on our
that's
campus.
great, yeah.
And they're an elementary school, a Jewish elementary school.
Okay.
So their staff and parents are going to be running this program, and so it's going to be very, very well supervised. And there'll be arts and crafts, and kids will be able to actually make menorahs
Wow.
and also make greeting cards and things like that. So
Okay.
really, really will be fun. Now, while they're doing that, the
The
parents
Yeah, okay.
can do many different things.
Okay.
First, let me mention, since we were talking about the significance of the holiday, I didn't mention specifically, but I think it really is true. It's very relevant today with all of what we continue, unfortunately, to have going with Israel, with Jewish people continue to, the belief being that we're not able to practice our faith in peace, basically, and so we're having an interfaith discussion, a panel discussion, which will have Rabbi Harry Rosenfeld of Congregation Albert
Wonderful.
and Pastor Bruce Wilder, who's a Faith Lutheran.
Okay.
He is going to be on that. And then Sherry Elowitz, who's the Jewish Studies teacher at the school, the Jewish Academy. And they will be discussing amongst themselves the meaning of Hanukkah, how the different faiths sort of can come together understanding the message of Hanukkah.
Wow, that
So
would
that's,
be awesome.
That's something that people can do.
Okay.
Then we're going to have a huge silent auction with some amazing finds for people. Holiday shopping.
There you go.
Not that we want to overemphasize the gifts.
But it's a great opportunity.
But
for
it is,
yeah.
and you'll be
Awesome.
supporting the JCC as well as local crafts folks and vendors.
You know, the last
yeah.
time I attended one, I think we, I don't recall, but at least 6 gifts that we bought for the holidays.
Sure.
And they were really nice. I mean, not because
Yes.
you're here,
Yes.
just to
Well,
like.
thank you.
They were wonderful, and
We've-
there's some great craftspeople, some
Yes.
great artists. Just a lot of neat things and fun stuff for every age, and some really nice things.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's cool.
Thank you. You said it all. We have Congregation Albert basically takes their entire Judaica gift shop and brings it
brings it
over.
over. Wow.
So anything that you are looking for, you know, from the littlest thing of candles for your menorah or a menorah, you can get a menorah like that if you'd like. And then many other vendors such as Silk Connection,
Yes.
and they have accessories, scarves, sunglasses, purses. Then we have, as I said, more artistic crafts things, jewelers, potters, etc. So you can find some
Yeah.
unique gifts. And then when you get tired from, by the way, there's entertainment going on through all
Throughout
of this. This is in
wow.
the main ballroom. We have a dance floor and a stage, and the
Okay.
Rebbe's Orchestra, which is a klezmer band.
Wow, that'll be fun.
will be performing. So they'll be singing and dancing and eating and all of this going on. You may get a little tired and want a massage, so we have a massage therapist there too this year.
That's really a lot of neat stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Now let's talk about when is this going to take place?
Okay, so it's going to be Sunday,
Okay.
December 14th,
Okay.
from 12 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
at the Embassy Suites, which is at Lomas and I-25.
Okay.
And family of 4 can get in for $15
Wow,
in
that's a
advance.
great price.
And
Okay.
if you come to our website at jccabq.org, you can get your tickets there.
Online?
Yeah,
Okay,
online.
great.
Or give me a call.
Okay.
I'm at 348-4500. Be happy to personally help you get signed up. And the advantage to that is when you get to the conference center, the festival at Embassy Suites, we'll have a will call list, and we'll just check you off, give you a little wristband, and you're good to go.
You know, another great thing about that facility is if people haven't been to the Embassy Suites, if they're from another part of New Mexico, or
Sure.
maybe they haven't gone there recently, think about it. They have great parking, so you don't have to
Oh,
worry
right.
about parking. They have parking
Yes.
surrounding that whole
Free
facility,
parking.
free parking,
Yes.
and then different areas of interest. So you really don't have to walk too far like other venues, and so that's good for the family. And you can take mom, you can take your grandmother, you can take the kids.
bet.
And as you said, there's something for everybody that afternoon, so everybody can really be able to enjoy themselves and have a lot of fun.
As a matter of fact, Annette Garcia, your good friend and mine, who is
Let's
the...
see. Oh, my sister. I knew that name ringing a bell.
That's right, your sister, not just your friend. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyway, I was just in touch with her yesterday, and is going to have a table for Kufi, Christians United for Israel,
Okay.
and then also Yad B'Yad and Bridges for Peace are having a
Wow, it's
table.
great organizations.
So we have about 15 different of these information booths
Okay.
to find out about all different nonprofits and organizations that are working on great causes. For example, the Holocaust Museum in Albuquerque is going to be
Okay.
represented.
Wow.
The Jewish Federation, which underwrites Hillel, which
Yeah.
is on the UNM campus.
Okay.
And of course the JCC, we're going to have a big booth, so you
Right.
can find out all about the JCC and sign up for 90 days for $90. So,
Right.
yeah.
And of course, being a member of Christians United for Israel, we want people to be able to find out about what that's all about. And,
Yep.
And staunch support of Israel and the Jewish people. So something for everybody. And tell us about the other events in December, because I
Can
mean,
I tell you one more
oh,
thing
yeah,
about
yeah,
Hanukkah
let's keep
Festival?
going. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
what
just
do we?
wanna-
Okay.
I wouldn't. The day would not be complete, and a Jewish holiday wouldn't be complete without a mitzvah. Mitzvah literally means commandment.
Okay.
It also, and we are commanded to do good for others. So, in our simcha, which is a happy, joyous time, it's really important as part of our Jewish values to remember those who are less fortunate. And we do that, we're going to do that in 2 ways this year.
Okay.
One is we're partnering with the New Mexico Diaper Bank, which is run by a dynamic, fabulous gal, Susan Durick. She's just doing this out of her own also sense of giving back to the community.
Sure.
And what the New Mexico Diaper Bank does is collects incontinent products for all ages, from infant to big people that have problems.
sure.
And you know, I like to call it the dirty little secret that nobody talks about, that comes with, unfortunately, with poverty, because it's
Yeah.
not, these products aren't cheap.
I know, they're
So, so it's a way to help, and we have a goal of having everybody who comes bring a package, an unopened package for any age group.
that's great.
Of these incontinent products or diapers, more commonly known.
Sure.
And then you'll be entered into a raffle to win a big prize. And we're trying to get a $500 American Express gift card.
Wow.
So we're taking donations
Yeah,
for that.
that's
And then the other thing that we're partnering with is a pet rescue organization.
Okay.
They're called Karma, and it's let me see if I can get this right. Companion Animals Rescued and medical assistance. So
Okay.
rescued animals, and they're going to have dogs and cats. And we're going to have a separate room for them.
Wow.
So even if you can't take one home, you can come and with your
Sure.
kids.
But
and
you could adopt one that day.
You could adopt
Wow,
one that
that's
day,
awesome.
which would be wonderful.
That is
so
great.
those are our 2 mitzvah
Wow.
projects.
Now, you talked about that panel discussion.
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time that will take
Yes,
place?
that will be at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
2
Okay.
o'clock, and we have a separate room for that, and
Right.
everybody's invited there. And prior to that, we're having a latke cooking demonstration. So as I was explaining, there's a debate about potato pancakes and how, some people say, oh, well, I want mine perfectly formed, a little patty. And others are like, nope, I want ragged edges. And so we have an expert, Ruth Rosenstein, who runs our in-house cafe and catering operation at the JCC. It's called
Wow.
Rhubarb and Elliot. But she and her mother and daughter, the 3 of them, are going to come and
Wow.
show some really unique and fun ways to make latkes.
Well,
And of course, everybody will get to taste it.
and yeah, well, I hope so. You know that we had a great time the last time that we attended one of the festivals, and as I said before, last time I believe it was at the Jewish Community Center. And my son Tyler, who's now 11, he loves to do all kinds of things, and one of the things he does is bake, and so he really liked seeing that demonstration.
Wow.
But he made some pancakes the other day, and he made one for his mom that was in the shape of a mustache. So he's pretty talented. Yeah, so yeah, I know he's going to look forward to being able to see that demonstration.
Oh,
and
good.
and of course, there was really something for the entire family, and family is
Yeah.
such a big part of
Community.
of community.
It's the building
yeah.
block of community,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it will be a great time. I know last time we were there, I couldn't believe that I think we were there the entire 4 hours, and it was like, oh my goodness,
It went pretty
I think they
fast,
want us
huh?
out the door. We're closed. It's time to go. But it
Yeah.
was so fun, and as you said, there's just
Yeah, by the time you
Yeah.
you have your meal, you listen to music, you dance if you want to, you shop, your kids are playing,
Right.
you listen to this this panel
the
discussion.
panel, you get to meet different people.
You
and
shop
sit
at the
down.
silent auction,
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
And then the other thing at 3 o'clock is kind of the pinnacle of the day.
Okay.
We have a big menorah, and we have representatives from all these organizations
Yeah.
that are going to be
remember that.
represented.
Okay.
And we have a prayer for each candle that each organization says. So we light the whole menorah, and then we sing and dance some more.
Wow, what a time of fellowship. That is so awesome. Well, there's some other major events that are taking place in December, so
There are.
break them down.
Okay,
and
so
tell-
there's
okay.
one this week,
Okay.
which I think your viewers may be really, really interested in, and that is, it's called Israel the Way Forward, and we're going to be simulcasting this. It's actually going to be recorded with Dennis Ross, who
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. Phenomenal.
and yes, and Ethan Bronner, who actually is an old friend of mine. He used to be the bureau chief in Jerusalem for the New York Times.
Okay.
He's a very, very, very educated in the whole Mideast situation.
Yeah.
And then the other person, there's a gal. Gosh, I'm having trouble thinking of her name. I'm sorry.
Maybe we can put it back up on the screen, and there she is.
There we go.
Let's
Can
see.
you read her name? I can't read from here.
What is it? I can read it. Can you read it? You have a paper.
I do?
We do? Oh, we do. Hey, the hostess.
Cheat sheet.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yes, Dahlia Rabin.
Okay.
Rabin, I mean, who's Yitzhak Rabin's
Okay.
daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's the chairperson of the Yitzhak Rabin
Okay.
Center. I apologize.
No.
So many things to
so
remember,
many things, so
right?
many people. But
I can't
you know
believe I'm running all these events.
What's great, Phyllis, is these type of discussions are so
Yes.
helpful for people that maybe just don't have an understanding of what is taking place in Israel and
Correct.
what Israel faces, and really to be able to, when you get that education, then you're able to see what God has in store for you and how you can be a part of supporting the people of Israel.
Yes.
You know, God has different commandments, and one is to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And, we do that on a daily basis here at Sun Broadcasting. But,
Yes.
there's something to be able to come and hear from people that have lived within Israel. They're in Jerusalem, whether they're in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Jericho, wherever it is, and be able to hear from the people living there. You can always talk about certain things and hear what the news presents, and we know the news has a slanted twist on a lot of
Yes.
things, unfortunately. So it's up to the people to be able to decipher and understand, and getting the information with discussions like this on this 2014 fall series.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be broadcast from 92nd Street Y,
Okay.
which is in New York, and it's part of the JCC family, actually. It's called the Young Men's, Young Women's Hebrew Association, not like the Y, but Hebrew Association,
Okay.
and it's become part of the J. But the important thing is that they open the discussion, even though we're in the audience, there are going to be other sites around the country that are going to tune in
Okay.
live, and then we will email them questions from our audience.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So there
you
is
can have your
interaction,
individual questions.
and
yeah.
they're really going to talk about some complex issues about the relationship between America and Israel and how we can continue to keep moving forward.
I understand you have a gentleman.
And that, by the way, is this Thursday night.
That's coming up. So okay.
December 4th, my husband, happy birthday, David, turns 55 on December 4th. Now the whole world knows your age.
But who's counting?
And who's counting?
Now, you got a gentleman by the name of Friedman, Kinky Friedman. Tell us
Yes.
about him.
Okay, so Kinky is, unlike the name would suggest, he was named when he was going to the University of Texas in Austin, because he has, you may have heard, some Jews have very curly hair,
Right.
From the Mideast.
Yeah.
And so his nickname became Kinky, and it stuck.
He would have hit it off of my dad, who had a good head of hair and like a kinky afro hair.
Blackie, right?
Yes. So that is awesome. Tell us
Yes.
about him.
Okay, so he's been around, for a good 40 years now, and he's a musician, he's a writer, he's written novels. He is kind of a quirky guy, so he'll fit well
his
into
name.
Albuquerque.
Okay.
But he's known as. He ran for governor several years ago,
Okay.
and he says, I may not have won that election, but I'm governor of the heart of Texas.
That's great.
So he's very funny. He'll be sharing his irreverent ideas about some things, but he'll also be singing and so forth.
Well, great. Well, there's a lot to
And
look
that's
forward
Saturday
to.
night.
Yeah. Well, we got another song, and boy, I'll tell you, I know we're going to run out of time here, but they can always go to your website to find out
Yes.
more. Tell us about what that website is.
jccabq.org,
Okay. Well, and then, of course, they can also call you. And
505-348-4500.
Wonderful. Well, we've got another song here in God Answers Prayer. Once again, we've got Reuben and Robert, and this is Greensleeves. And I want to thank Phyllis for being here. It has been such a blessing. Maybe you've learned a little bit more about Hanukkah. Maybe you've learned a little bit more about the Jewish Community Center. And maybe if you've never visited, you can go to these events that we've been talking about. If the dates get mixed up in your head, go to the website, call us here at Sun Broadcasting, and we hope to see you there. So have a blessed day. Shalom, shalom.
Candles in my vehicle, 8 nights, gonna shine invincible, no longer be divisible, born to the struggle, keep on moving through all this hustle, head up, head down through all of the bustle, New York City wanna flex your muscle, look so down, look so puzzled, huddle around your fire through all the rubble, bound to stumble and fall, but my strength comes not from man at all, bound to stumble and fall, but my strength comes not from man at all. Do you believe in miracles? Am I hearing you? Am I seeing you? So 8 nights and 8 lights and these fights keep me right and bless me to the highest heights with your miracle. our Lord's trod until tomorrow. Wipe away your tears and your sorrow, sunrise in the sky. Like an arrow, no need to worry, no need to cry. Light up your mind, no longer be blind. Him who searches will find. Leave your problems behind. You will shine like a fire in the sky. What's the reason we're alive? Reason we're alive. Bound to stumble and fall, but my strength comes not from man at all. Bound to stumble and fall, but my strength comes not from man at all. Do you believe in miracles? Am I hearing you? So am I seeing you? So ain't nights and ain't lights and these fights keep me right and bless me to the highest heights with your miracles. 8 is the number of infinity. One more than what you know how to be. And this is the light of festivity. When your broken heart yearns to be free. Do you believe in miracles? Am I hearing you? So am I seeing you? So ain't nights and ain't lights and these fights keep me right and bless me to the highest heights with your miracles. Do you believe in miracles? Am I hearing you? So am I seeing you? So ain't nights and ain't lights and these fights keep me right and bless me to the highest heights with your miracles.
The Jewish Community Center presents Hanukkah Festival, Sunday, December 14th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Embassy Suites Hotel in Albuquerque. Come and enjoy Jewish and Mediterranean foods, entertainment for all ages, shop unique holiday gifts. Come and bring the whole family for the JCC Chanakuh Festival, Sunday, December 14th at Embassy Suites Hotel. For advance tickets, go to jccabq.org or call 505-348-4500.